everyone. I'm so excited. I was just getting ready and I just wanted to bring you guys in on everything that I'm doing. We are going to color something for Christmas today. I did doodly doodly doos yesterday. And so I'm like going, I need to do some coloring book stuff. And oh, it's time for Christmas. So I have all of my colors out. I haven't chosen my palette yet. I haven't chosen the colors that I'm going to use. So I just kind of wanted to go through that with you guys, because I know sometimes I get stuck in deciding what colors I'm going to do. So let's start with just kind of looking like what colors are Christmassy to you? I like to have red, but you know what's Christmassy to me too? It's like that deep magenta. We've got some greens and stuff here. So we're going to do some lighter greens, some dark greens. I've got like this really deep blue green that's pretty. And what else? I'm thinking like a dark blue would be nice. Maybe we could use it for some accents. We got lots of swirlies and kind of chain things going on. What else is Christmas? Yellow is a Christmas color. Let's see. Let's get yellow out here. Yellow is a Christmas color. I always think of like red, yellow, green for the Christmas lights, blue. So let's start with that. Let's start with what we've got here. Let's get a dark purple in here too. I always like that dark purple. And then my favorite one, I don't even know what is, light blue. This is just called light blue, but it's one of my favorites. And I'm going to keep this one out too. So we've got a few colors here. So I'm just going to set these aside. Doesn't mean we can't use them though, right? But they're just going to be sitting over here, hanging out in case we need them. I always have my sharpener here. Got that close by. I always have crystals too. I love crystals. I've been a Reiki practitioner for years and I love the crystals. So I wanted to bring the crystals in with you guys and to do that. And so here's something that I have people say to me. They're like, oh, I love to color, but they never quite get over to the coloring, right? They never quite like color, like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Oh yeah. And there's a weird thing about the human psyche that a lot of times we resist the things that we really want to do. Sometimes we like resist the things that even are like really good for us. And I know I'm quite a procrastinator. I've done a lot of healing work around that actually, because I always wanted to be perfect. I always wanted to be right. I don't want to wreck it. I want it to be important. I want it to be amazing. And you know what? Coloring is not about perfection. Coloring is about the experience of coloring. Coloring is very, very healing. It's very, very beautiful. And so let's start this coloring right here, right now, by just picking a color. Pick the color that you really want to use. So I want to use this color. I'm loving this magenta color. So let's put these little guys over here. Where can you guys see? Let's put them right here. We got the crystals over here. I've got my favorite beautiful magenta. And so where can I put magenta in here that will make it fun? And I'm going to start here. I'm just going to put it in these little spaces right here. Magenta isn't really the classic Christmas. It's not green, but I want pink. I always want pink on my Christmas tree. I always have something pink. So let's put it on here too. And we don't have to put it on all of them, right? Have to put it on all of them. I'm going to follow some of these lines that come up a little bit further. Right, maybe do these little lines here. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And you know what? I'm going to do this up here. You've got these little things, kind of like what holds the little hanger deal-a-majiggy on the. I do that too. And then you know what? I'm gonna do them here. What are you feeling? Where do you want to put your favorite color? How do you want to experience that? And you know what happens when we start just doing it, we just start somewhere. That resistance, that weird thing that goes on within us when we're doing something that we really want to do, it kind of begins to go away. It kind of begins to ease. It's like, okay, we're getting in the motion. We're getting in the motion. And you know what? I'm gonna put some of this color over here too. Now that I got this pretty color and I'm seeing it, like, you know what? I want this on this one too. And remember, when we put colors on, we can always change the colors. We're not stuck with any of the colors. Look at these are like little teardrops here. I'm going to make them kind of into little teardrops. And this, you guys, is a page that you could get. I'm going to, on my Patreon, I'm putting this on, probably I'll be putting this on Facebook, but I'm going to put it on my Patreon too. And if you're part of my Patreon group, you can get this coloring page for free. You can come over there and you don't have to pay money to be on my Patreon. Just come be a member, just come be a part of it. And you can get this free, especially during the holidays. I'm going to be doing Christmas gifts in the form of different coloring pages. You can get them for free. You can sign up, be a member for free, and come be a part of this. And then when we move into the new year, I'm going to be doing some really fun stuff. And I'm going to be start doing coloring as a therapy, and not meaning y'all need therapy, but you know what? We all need therapy. We all need to learn to get back in touch, to be happy. We've all been through a lot of trauma. We've all been through a lot of nonsense the last few years. And we all need to just kind of be with ourselves. We all need to give ourselves some love, some self-care, and coloring is a great way to do that. And coloring can be very meditative. We just kind of start doing it. And it's fun to do it together. One of the benefits of coloring that's really cool is it's great for families. It's a great tool to get the kids involved with. It's a great tool to get the kids involved with because it relaxes them and it starts to open up communication, It starts to give everybody that relaxed state where it's like we're safe now. The other thing, our nervous systems have kind of been in a state of not feeling safe. When we're stressed out, there's a part of our psyche, there's a part of our nervous system that's not feeling safe. And we want to foster that feeling of safety again, And one of the ways to do that is to relax, and coloring is a great way to do that. And I'm thinking this color wants to keep on going. So when you're coloring, don't be afraid to turn your pages. And I'm going to start coloring this whole, and guys, I've got a little bit of a stuffy nose. So when I'm talking, I'm noticing I'm kind of going, beep, 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 beep. And it's because my nose is kind of stuffed up. So I apologize. But look and see this grayscale down there? See that grayscale? Some people who do coloring books don't like the grayscale. And it's a little bit kind of personal preferences. I like it because I find that it gives some depth. But I color over it. I don't leave it gray. I allow it to be something that kind of guides where I put some of my colors. And sometimes I'll even put yellow over it. Look at, I'm going to put that little bibby bob right there. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I like that down there. What do you think? What colors are you using? You can write that in the comments too. I always love to see and to hear what you guys are doing, how you guys are using your colors, because that's one of the fun things about doing all this stuff is being able to share it. And you know what? I want some yellow. And I can tell you, I'm going to be bringing some pink into all this. I'm feeling like pink wants to be in the house. And I'm going to put this up here. And you know what? We can even use yellow as gold. It's nice and bright. You guys see that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to bring I'm going to bring some yellow down in here. Kind of concentrating on this bottom one, huh? I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. And I almost feel like I want to bring it down into here. I want to bring that yellow down here. And so you'll notice I'm coloring over. See how there's these lines here? But I'm coloring over them for now. I'm just getting the color in there, and then we're going to go back and we're going to put some color over them and kind of define them. So remember, you can color over things. You can color over things and then come back and actually really change the color of them. Even this with this yellow right here, if I put it kind of over the pinky purple here while I'm coloring, it kind of brings a brightness to this, and it kind of brightens up some of the grayscale that I colored over too. See how it's kind of brightening that up? And so on this, I don't want to do too much over the little dots that I did. But if I do, I can always come back and darken them up later, right? There's so much we can do. And I've learned so much about this because I've been painting for the last couple of years, taking painting classes. It's ooh, this little baby Bob down here wants to be yellow. And painting very abstract acrylic painting. And I've learned so much about painting, and it's really interesting because I've been a therapist. I've been like a holistic therapist. I'm a intuitive guide, and so I do what people call psychic work. I don't really like to align with that because it has some kind of bad connotations around it. But I use my intuition to guide people, like life coaching. I'm a hypnotherapist. So I've been doing therapy for a long time, and I started coloring for my own peace of mind, right? For my own healing. And after coloring or after painting for a couple of years, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to do coloring books. I don't know where that came from either. It was like out of the blue. So let's see. We've got this and this. What is going to be our colors? Here's one of the ways that we do colors is like we've got yellow and we got pink, which is a derivative of red. And so in order to kind of stay on the color wheel, we want to do something that is kind of matching with the prime color. So I'm going to do my light blue. Can we try this light blue on here? I want to see if that's going to be pretty. And if I don't like it, I can color over it, right? And I don't think I'm crazy about that light blue there, but I can always put a darker blue over it. But I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to see if I'm just maybe going to like it. Maybe I'm going to like it once it's in there. What colors are you guys using? And when we get done, especially if you're on the Patreon, you can share your finished colorings too. Isn't this fun? That's kind of pretty. I kind of like that. And I'm going to do this up here, this color too. I'm going to do this up here, that color. And I'm going to do a little bit more yellow. I'm going to make this little top, this little piece. Make it gold. It's going to be gold. I like that. I like that a lot. So now I kind of have three colors here that I'm using. So I'm actually going to bring this blue into this coloring here. Now check this out. This is going to be kind of a whole different deal because this blue is darker. And so we're moving it into this grayscale. And we didn't put any other color over it. So we're really using the blue and the grayscale. A lot of times the grayscale works really good when you do. Oh, excuse me. I got frogs in my throat. Frogs in my throat. What do you think about that? me think about that. I kind of like it. But we're going to do something. We're going to bring another color in with that. I'm going to bring this up here. What colors are you guys using? How are you feeling too? How are you feeling? Are you feeling a little bit more relaxed? Sometimes people get kind of like tense with coloring too. And if you're feeling kind of tense, all you need to do is just take a nice deep breath. Oh, ooh, yeah. Just let any tension just kind of go. There you go. Just kind of letting yourself relax, let go. And I'm feeling like I want to bring in some purple because right now I've got kind of a pink and I've got a blue. And when you put red and blue together, you get purple. And so we're kind of doing a complementary sort of thing in here, right? Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, though. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. And I kind of wanted to have yellow on these ones, but I'm putting the purple in there. Right? And then I'm bringing the yellow out again. And I'm going to do these little accent parts down here. See how we're adding that in there? It's kind of like that pop of color. I use that term a lot. Pop of color. So fun. And then I'm going to show you another thing that we're going to do. Is we're going to bring this yellow in. We're going to kind of line this on the inside part, right? So do you see how that is? We're just kind of lining, we're adding a little bit of yellow into the purple part. It's adding a little bit of depth. It's adding a little bit of shadow to it. I like to call it the aura. The aura, you got some lines in here. Just adding a little bit of yellow to that. I'm going to pull that closer to the camera and see if it'll let you see. See how that's just adding a little bit of color to it? And so we got that purple, and then I'm going to do a little bit of yellow down on the bottom part there too. So it's almost like, in my thinking, it's almost like, you know, part of the whole Christmas and all that stuff is silver and gold, right? Sparkly things. Silver and gold, right? Remember that? Oh, I can tell my voice is kind of messed up. But look at that. Isn't that pretty now? When we added that little bit of yellow in there, we just add a little yellow. And it made it all poppy. And we're going to put the yellow down here on the little tip down there. We put it up here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? This is that beautiful, beautiful decorations for that tree that isn't traditional colors, but is still beautiful nonetheless. And you know what I want to do? I'm going to bring this greenish blue in here. Ooh, look at that. So we're just going to add another color. Just adding another color in with our coloring here. I'm going to do the dots. This is going to be more of an accent color because it's really bold, right? How are you guys feeling? Are you starting to relax? You're starting to feel a little bit like, oh, so glad I did this. I'm so glad I took the time. So glad I took the time. Just a little bit of time. Boop, boop. And remember, we don't have to be perfect when we do this, right? We're here for fun. This is for fun. This is not, we're not going to become rich and famous. Well, we might. We might become rich and famous, but most likely we're not. And I'll tell you what, people that become rich and famous with art stuff are people that stick true to their heart and their soul. So what does your heart and soul want to be doing? What does your heart and soul want to be doing right here, right now? My heart and soul wants to fill some of these lines like we did with the the pinky purple. Wants to fill some of these lines now. What's it put in? Put this greeny color. I'm going to put that right over where those grayscale lines are. Right over where those accent lines are. They don't have to be in there perfectly. But they're kind of liking being there. And you know what? I kind of want to bring this purple in here. This one's going to be a little bit dark. This is going to be one of those ornaments that shows up at night. Like when you turn your Christmas tree lights on during the day, you don't see it that much. But then at night, when you turn the Christmas tree lights on, it's all sparkly there inside the Christmas tree. I love it. Right? We're going to do some of this purple down here on these lines that are down here, right? These are all just part of the sparkle lines. I like to call them the sparkle lines. Let's put this purple up here too, right? And since we're putting sparkle lines up here, we're doing Christmas. You know what we need? We need our yellow, right? Ooh, look at how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is. Should we do this all yellow up here? Ooh. Yeah, with the purple and that teal. I like to call that color teal. Huh? I used to have a house that had that color carpet in it. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. And it was so calming. Oh my goodness. Teal is a very calming color. And so I'm going to turn my thing just a little bit. And I'm going to bring this in down here. There you go. And make sure you guys can see that. I'm going to bring this yellow in down here like we did with this one, right? Like we did with this one. Just bring that up here. Bring it up here. Just a happy little yellow color. I'm doing Bob Ross. Bob Ross in the coloring book world. Happy little colors. And you bring that gold over this beautiful teal. And look at how pretty. Look at how it just kind of makes it get brighter. Right? Just makes it get a little bit brighter. And I'm actually going to put this yellow over this top part here too. Because I like it. So look at that. Look at how we did the different colors. These are the colors that we used to do our beautiful ornaments. And so now let's do some of the green. So I'm going to set these over here and I'm going to get out first. I'm going to get out kind of a darker green. And I'm going to start doing some of our foliage, some of our Christmas tree branches here, right? Just a little bit. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do every branch and I'm not going to fill in totally green. Okay. I'm just doing just a little bit. I see them in here because we're going to add another color on there. We're going to add some colors in there that are going to add a little bit of depth, but we want this green because this is green. Crayola says this is green. So we're going to trust it. Crayola knows their colors, don't they? Crayola doesn't know what green is. Nothing does. And on this one, there's a little bit, where some of these things kind of cross over. I do use a little bit of AI with some of my coloring books. It's like I give AI the general drawing that I have, and then I let it clean it up. I don't always do that, but I trust it. Sometimes I don't do the best job. And so it cleans it up for me, makes it prettier. A lot of people are really against that kind of stuff, and I apologize if anybody doesn't like that. I think it's super fun. I know I talk to a lot of artists and they're just, like, oh, AI is the devil. But I think we need to be responsible with it, I think it's important that, we have this tool that, can really really expand our minds, actually. Use responsibly, like everything else. We got to be responsible. We got to take responsibility for our usage and what we're doing. And so what I'm seeing now that I'm getting some of this green, getting some of these boughs colored in here, I'm noticing that these look like they're poinsettia leaves, right? And then it's kind of like they're these beautiful ribbons here. So I'm going to pull out my favorite color, this beautiful magenta here. Is that the one? This is magenta. This is magenta. I'm going to color some of these ribbons. I think I want my Christmas tree to have beautiful magenta ribbons on it. They're not red. I realize they're not traditional, but I'm not doing a traditional tree this year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a pink tree. All the shades of pink. It's going to be a tree about love. It's going to be a love Christmas. What do you guys think about that? And remember, too, when we're coloring, it doesn't have to be perfect at first because we're going to go back over. We're going to do accents. We're going to get all of this in here. Right? I'm going to outline this. I feel like that is part of the ribbon. Right? There's a little ribbon over here. I'm going to color that in. Just a little swirl, right? Just a little swirl. Bringing that in there. Isn't this fun? I hope you guys are sticking with me. Hope you guys are coloring right along. And something I love to do too. I love to watch people do art too. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, like when I'm relaxing, just watching people create things. It's so fun. What a great medium, And I'm just seeing some things in here. I'm going to add a little bit. Got some swirly going on in here. Where some of the things seem like they get a little unclear as to what they are. That's okay. You can figure that out later, right? We're getting the majority of the pieces in here. And now, you know what? Poinsettias are red. Are we ready to put red in here? This is a red orange. And you know what I do sometimes too? I'm going to share a little trick with you. If I'm not sure about a color, I'll swath it on the back. Do I want that red? I don't want to. Ah! I almost lost all my color crayons off the side. This is a darker red. Do I want a darker red like that? A lot of times you can, when you swath it, you color really dark and then you color light to see what the outcome's going to be with that. We can color dark and then color out to light. See the different hues that you're going to get. What do you think? I'm thinking the lighter one. And we even could use, there are pink poinsettias, aren't there? Oh, do I dare? What do you guys think? Can we do pink poinsettias? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start out by coloring them pink. And I'm just I'm doing big. I'm not really following much. Oh, is this crazy, you guys? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is part of the fun of coloring. It's like, it's our coloring and we can have pink poinsettias if we want to. Make sure we're going around that. And I'm doing it like big swath. Because in my vision, in my seeing this, I'm seeing a lot of these, excuse me, a lot of these poinsettia. And I'm thinking these are some poinsettia over here. These look like poinsettia leaves here. Kind of cute. There's like a little heart right there. That one's folded back. Look at that. A little bit down here. A little bit over here. So we're filling that in, right? And so then what we're noticing here is the purple, right? It's kind of melting into the pink. So they're not really popping out, right? So I'm going to take a deeper purple. So we're going to take orchid and I'm going to outline just a little bit all of the ribbons. Oops. I outlined it all right. I'm going to do all the dark lines. I'm going to outline with this. And I'm not going to do it super neat. I'm going to do it a little bit sloppy. I'm going to do it a little bit filling these colors in, because what happens is they're ribbons. They're free, they're loose, right? Might even color them in a little bit with this, just a light washing of this beautiful orchid. See how they're standing out now, right? See how those ribbons, now they're starting to stand out from the pink. And that's what we want, right? We want everything that we color, all the different colors and stuff, we want them to be able to stand out. So just a light, I got a little bit extra. Another thing too that you can do, you know, if you know where, if you know about kind of like about depth and shading and stuff like that, you can shade where it's appropriate too, right? Things that you see that are kind of underneath, you can add a little bit more shading. You can do that with this orchid. Some of you were advanced colorers. Some of you are new colorers. That's great. It's all important. You know, it doesn't matter. We're not here to be pros at this. We're here to have fun. We're here to find the happiness and the joy of life again, right? That's why I love to color. It makes me feel like a kid. Makes me feel like a kid again. Okay, so do you see how those are standing out a little bit more now? And then what we're going to do, I'm going to take this red. It's not the super dark one. It's kind of the orangey colored red. And I'm going to add that red. Check this out. And I'm going to do all the outlines. And what this is going to do is it's going to give a little bit of depth. Right? So we might have done them pink, but we know that poinsettias kind of are basically red. In my history, they were red until they kind of came up with the pink ones, and I love pink. So I was like, oh, yay, we got pink ones. But you know, traditionally they're red. So let's honor the red of the poinsettia, and we'll let the red be a part of our coloring here today, right? So we might have painted a pink, but we're honoring the traditional red poinsettia. Just pulling that in, going around the outside, kind of gives it a little bit of a red aura, right? Isn't that pretty? And look at that one, bring that in. And one of the things I know that I struggle with is choosing what colors to use. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, if I use the wrong color, it's going to look crappy, right? But with coloring, it doesn't matter, right? We're not even totally here to make things pretty. We're here for the experience of coloring. We're here to experience the fun, the joy, the childlike wonder of coloring. That's one of the benefits of all of this, is being able to be in this space, where we get to honor that child within, you know. And look at down here, I missed this one. Let's get our pink out. And this is what happens too. It's like, oh, Ooh, that's a darker pink. Is that the same pink I use? Yep, that is. I'm gonna color this in. Bloop, 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 kind of bring the colors into our little, right, we're gonna get our red, do our little outlining. Right, boop, boop, boop. And look down here. We got one of our little ribbons down here. And I like to kind of pull too, especially when you got ribbons that are kind of going into foliage, is bring that color into the foliage, right? Bringing that color into the foliage. Matter of fact, that looks really pretty, guys. Ooh, this is that orchid. It's almost like adding this orchid color to the foliage. Can you guys see that? You know, and then this is one of those parts of the coloring where who the heck would put pink as part of the foliage, as part of the greenery of the Christmas tree? But it's really pretty. It's really pretty adding that in there. We're going to call it an orchid tip fir. Right? Because we were going to add some other color. I was going to add another green, but this might be the color that it wanted, that it kind of wanted to be. And so we're going to take this down here. We're going to add, boop, right? We're going to add that in there. Maybe a light coloring over that. See how it's taking on some depth, some depth. And look at over here. We missed a leaf. And this is part of what happens with this too, is let's kind of bring that in there. We got another one over here. Right? We kind of missed this one too. And as I'm looking at this, I'm going like, do I like this? Am I liking this? It's kind of pretty. Because another thing too is, you can color these and then come back later and be like, you know what, I want to change this. Or I want this to be different. Right? It's your painting. You can do whatever the heck you want with it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can add more green in now that you put some, maybe make it a little bit darker. That's what I'm going to do, is I make a little bit darker. I'm going to fill in a little bit of the blank parts. As I'm doing this too, I'm seeing all these little areas here that are poinsettia-y. All these little poinsettia-y areas. And we got a little hanger thing here, but we can't see what it is. So what I'm also doing is we got these little chains that are little hangers for the Christmas trees. I'm going to fill these in too. Let's get a color them in with yellow, right? We've got all of these, and it doesn't matter. If you have to color over, yellow is a great color to put over other things. It just kind of brightens everything up. I love yellow. Yellow's a happy color. And it's funny too. I do this kind of a lot. I'll notice it. I'll get done and they'll be like, oh man, I missed one spot. I did a doodle the other day. For those of you that aren't in the Sacred Space Coloring Corner on Facebook group, I put all kinds of stuff up there. I put some of my paintings and put coloring and stuff. And I was putting one of my doodles up there and I realized I missed a whole spot. All right, so let's get this part here. Let's get this colored in a little bit more. Now that we're kind of winding up, we want to start going with the fluff, right? We kind of want to be coloring with it, kind of taking that, so that the strokes that we're taking, the strokes that we're taking with our pencils, going with how, the natural flow. of that. It gives it a little bit more of a natural, a real look. And so we've got this in here. I'm actually going to fill some of these spaces in here that I don't even know what this is. We're going to fill that in with green. Sometimes we just have funky stuff, especially with these kind of coloring pages when there's so much going on. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. We're just going to fill it in. We know there's tree back there. We got some of these that are hanging out here. And you can do some a little bit past too. Always do a little bit. It's a little renegade in me. So look at that. Oop. We gotta do this one. We got a little chain here that's obviously connected to an ornament that we can't see. And here's some other little things, because on a Christmas tree, there's always things hanging in the background and back over there. So look at that. Look at what you guys did. And the picture, the saying on here is, I am beautiful. So one of the cool things about coloring, especially when you have, oh, I look full, F-U-L-L. Oh, see, that's an explanation point. When we're coloring these, one of the things that's happening is we're subconsciously picking up on the statement on there. We're subconsciously picking up with, I am beautiful. And so it's so natural for you to create this state of beauty. So look at what you guys did. And when you get done, always sign your art. So I do my MLA, and then I do 12/2023. Whoops. Right? So you have that on there. Sometimes on the back, I'll put on here like December. So look what you guys did. You did a beautiful, beautiful coloring right there. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you're a part of Sacred Space Coloring Corner. Again, I will put the Patreon information in there. We do a lot more over there. I'm doing stuff on YouTube right now. But the fun stuff is really going to be over on Patreon. I'll be doing some different things, and some things will be crossover too. Also Facebook. And I use this as art therapy. So if you are interested in art therapy in the process of kind of like life coaching with coloring, with breathing, and putting it all together for a healing modality, you can contact me at sacredspacearttherapy.com. I'll put that link too. And look at this. Look, I feel like I want deeper yellow. I always do this. I always just keep going and keep going. Look how pretty that is. Let's all just take a nice deep breath. Just releasing. And we see our thing one more time and remember that you are beautiful. We can say it together. I am beautiful. And that positive statement just resonates throughout your body, and it blesses you and heals you. So thank you. Thank you for being here on this journey with me. And we'll be doing more and more and more. So I love you. Big hugs, big kisses, and stay sparkly.